This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. A participant in nearly 700 PGA Tour events. 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That's Jay Delsing, who played in over 700 PGA Tour events, and we're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. We're coming to you from Wild Crush, which was the site of the kickoff of the Ascension Charity Classic a few weeks back, which has supported numerous charities in North County. And first and foremost, Jay, always great to be with you.
Thanks, Danny. Yeah, it's great to be here at Wild Crush. It's great to have Cord in. We're going to get to talk a little Dalhousie and get to bring, golf in here and talk some golf on a Sunday.
You mentioned Cord. That's Cord Dombrowski, founder of Dalhousie Golf Club located in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. We're going to get to Cord in just a moment. Also, on this edition of Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions, we'll visit with a Hall of Famer, and that's Bernie Federko from the St. Louis Blues. But first of all, Cord, thanks for coming into St. Louis, and thanks for coming to Wild Crush.
Well, glad to do it. Jay, thank you for inviting me. And Dan, it's good to see you again.
Always great to see you. Cord, let's start with this. A simple question. How did Dalhousie all come about? It is a gorgeous place, and how did it all happen?
Well, that's a long story, of course.
I bet it is.
Way back. Recently, I was at the Troon offices in January, and they asked the same question. And literally, we spent 6 hours of it was like a Golf Channel studio taping the beginning. How did it start before the beginning? But every business venture starts with an idea, and the seed is usually planted, long before reality. And that was the case with us. And then the hardest thing was to temper the enthusiasm of the sport of golf and blending that with the business part of the golf business. And one of my mentors, Rush Limbaugh Sr., was our family's attorney for years and years and years. And one thing I remember him saying is that as you grow in your business career, make sure you don't have emotions dictate a decision as opposed to the business part of it. And that was the case, very much so with golf. Been around golf like a lot of people have for a long, long time. Not nowhere near as accomplished as our friend here, Jay, but had my share of moments. And then with the opportunity of getting into the golf business, it's like, well, how cool would that be? A golf course and this and that. And then it's like, well, let me take a step back and make sure we're doing this the right way. So advice of Mr. Limbaugh took over, and I spent 2 years researching, traveled the country, looking at different types of clubs, different types of facilities, different types of ownership, and eventually blended the notes into a business plan before we even started it, and then applied the numbers to it. Eventually it all made sense, and off we went. So that was 1999, a long time ago.
Danny, I don't know if many people know how nice it is to be able to have a national club like Dalhousie basically in our backyard. There's lots of opportunities to play golf, but this is a special place. We've got overnight accommodations. It's a Jack Nicklaus design, and the property is spectacular.
That's what I think. It's kind of a hidden gem, and I don't know if it's hidden anymore, but in Missouri, and I know, Cord, you're getting people from all over the country because of the overnight accommodations, because of how nice the facility is, but people that make this a week-long stay, a weekend stay, but it's a place where everybody is coming from across the country to be a part of it.
And that's very true, and it's hard to say how that happened. We're approaching 700 members now. Probably 70% of those are from far away, obviously in the immediate area, St. Louis, Southern Illinois, but Atlanta, Chicago, Florida, Arizona, Dallas, and just all over. And it's almost weekly. One of the members is flying in to Cape Girardeau, and of course we pick them up at the airport, and they always bring 3 or 7, and they spend 3 or 4 days, and we'll see them 3 or 4 times a year. It just works out really well because we have a large membership that are very in tune into good golf and, more importantly, good camaraderie. And they meet the folks of the staff. They develop relationships, and they keep coming back. One thing I think we like is our staff. I always tell them when we're hiring new people, I say, if you bring your attitude with you, we'll teach you what to do. And good attitude, that comes from the heart. And almost without exception, that's what we have. And I try and impress upon them that these guys can join any place across the country, Florida, Arizona, doesn't matter. But they've joined our place for good reason. And part of it, and there's great golf, there's 1,000 great golf courses. And what distinguishes the really great clubs from the great golf courses is the staff and how they get treated. We've got that figured out.
Well, it's Danny, it's a testimony to what's going on there. You don't get 700 people joining anything by accident. And to Cord's point, if you let, just like the restaurant business here, if you let up on your service or the things that you're trying to, do well with, it'll show and the market will let you know it.
Absolutely. And the other thing, Cord, is I want to know how you found the piece of land to put this course in, and it's gorgeous. So how did you find the particular location that you decided to put Dalhousie at, Dalhousie Golf Club? And again, Cord Dombrowski, the founder of Dalhousie, is our guest. So where did you find the piece of land to do this?
Well, a lot of good things come by accident, and if you try and seek out the perfect property, you're more than likely second, third choice, whatever. But we bought right at 900 acres from the family, and happened to be one of my dear friends. He has since passed away, and it broke my heart. We walked that property raising our kids, and I always thought, how neat would it be to have a golf course here, blah, 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 blah. And then time went by, and the matriarch of the family passed away, the patriarch of the family passed away, and my dear friend Pat, became the benefactor of the property. The other dynamics in southeast Missouri in relation to golf, everything just kind of fell into place. It was like the dynamics where this makes sense, and the opportunity for the land kind of made sense. And then knowing a little bit more about golf in the 90s than I did in the 60s made sense. Things were kind of lining up, even going back to Mr. Limbaugh's comment, don't let the emotion get in the way, because we walked this property for years. So at that point, when I made the decision to make the project a go, it was like it made sense that this property would be the choice. But we bought another farm west of town and an option on another piece of property, and we brought folks in from Crenshaw Golf out of Dallas. That was my first call. I've got to call him Mr. Crenshaw still, even though he's younger than me. But anybody that's got 2 green jackets, you got to give him the respect.
For sure.
You got to do it. And so he was very helpful and inspirational in making our decision. So they came up, and I didn't give them any tips. I said, here's 3 pieces of property. Let's go look at them. I'll drop you off, call me, and I'll pick you up. And which one do you like? This one here. So let the option expire on one, sold the other one, and executed the arrangement with the Evans family on this property. Now, this property goes back, like everything, of course, pre-Louisiana Purchase. The original settlers were Scots, and by name of Giboney, and the matriarch of that family was a Ramsey. So they were benefactors of the Louisiana Purchase. The homestead that is still there was built in 1825, and the family has lived in this facility ever since. I don't know how many generations that is, 6 generations, something like that. So it's very unique in that regard. So we were aware of that aspect of the property. Golf was going to be its next life. I took the time to do a research in a couple areas. One, we conducted an archaeological study. We contacted the National Trust for Historic Preservation in Washington and the Missouri Historical Preservation in Jeff City, and collaborated and shared with them the archaeological aspects of the property, what we're wanting to do with it, and the respect for land and all that. And that resulted in a memorandum of agreement of all those 2 entities and myself executed, and this is how we're going to manage this property. That's highly unusual, quite frankly. Most developers are how many units can we, how many lots can we, and all that kind of stuff. So that wasn't our focus. So that's how it got started, and there's lots of side stories to it. And Nicholas, although he's fabulous businessman, was not our first choice. We were wanting to work with the Crenshaw firm, of course. Ben was still playing at the time. He won his second Masters in '95, so I met him like in '91 or '92. We're involved in the turf grass business with him in Austin. And he and Bill Core were just getting started, and they were doing 1, maybe 2 a year. again, the emotion thing keeps coming back with Mr. Limbaugh. It always surfaces, and it's like, should I wait until he stops playing? Who knows when that would be? And we can do a project together, which would be unbelievable. Business associates and then friends as well. What would the market be like at that point in time? So that was the first decision. So C.J. McKinney, who was involved with Crenshaw Golf at the time, we talked a long time about that. And he said, well, they've got a contract for a project on Long Island, waiting on permitting. And if that doesn't come through, we can jump in and do this like right now, like in 2000. And I thought about it, and I said, well, let's go. We backed into the Nicholas firm, and Jack was turning 60 to come in January. So Tim Kenny was running Nicholas Golf. And so their business model was changing. We're going to readjust the signature fees, drive business to the boys, and that's our plan going forward. And where are we fitting this? So we haven't figured it out yet. I said, well, we're ready to go. We picked Gary to work with. He was playing on the tour at the time. We thought if the project worked good and his career ended up being pretty good, that could be a good mix. As things turn out, we ended up with a fabulous facility, and he lost in the playoff to Mickelson in Atlanta, and that was kind of the beginning of the end for Gary's career. But what a great guy. We hit it off. Our personalities blended, and we did some really, really good things at the club.
So, Cord, we'll wrap up this segment with you, and then we're going to visit with Bernie Federko. If you were to describe your facility to someone here in St. Louis or anywhere where they're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, how would you describe it?
There's a lot of great golf in Missouri, in the Midwest, and we're one of them. We're very proud of that. I think the distinguishing factor is, I don't want to be too spiritual and say it's a step back in time, but it kind of is. We don't have swimming pools and flowers and fountains and all that. It's just pure golf. It's a golf club. No tennis, none of that stuff. We've got a good place to eat, nice places to stay, and a great place to play golf. The camaraderie there is unlike any place else. Nobody asks you who you are, what you do, where you've been, and you could be next to, well, Bernie's been down there to play, and people like Morgan Freeman come in to play, and other people of that notoriety, and they just blend. And that's why they come back, because in the bigger metropolitan areas, it's a picture, it's a handshake, it's a photo, it's a signature. You don't get that at Dalhousie. So
pretty well put.
That's a special place, Cord. Congratulations, and got to get down there.
Absolutely. I've been down there. Actually, I'm a member. I'm wearing the Dalhousie cap, so I get the chance to see Cord probably a couple of times during the summer, and it's been a wonderful experience, and thanks for coming into Wild Crush.
Glad to do it. Thanks for inviting me.
You got it. That's Cord Dombrowski, the founder of Dalhousie Golf Club located in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. We're going to visit with Bernie Federko here in just a moment, but first, our tip of the cap. What do you got, Jay?
Our tip of the cap is brought to you by the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303. Our buddy Colin Burnt, fantastic guy, supporter of the show, supporter of the game of golf. We're tipping our cap today, Danny, to the golf course designers, the Nicholas family in particular, building this gem that's in our state, that's a national golf club that gives us this opportunity to go down there and get to play a Nicholas golf course on a fantastic piece of property. And you also have the other designers, the Fazios, the Crenshaw Coors, the Hertzog Fry, the Weisskopf, all those guys. But we're tipping it to the Nicholas family and his design at Dalhousie.
All right, that's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Coming up, we'll visit with Bernie Federko. We're coming to you from Wild Crush, and this is Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
That was On the Range with Jay Delsing. For news on the latest golf equipment, tips, and to ask Jay a question, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. Coming up, it's the Front Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing.
Daugherty Business Solutions, the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show, is a leader in our community in so many areas. Do they have over 2,500 teammates in over 30 states and 3 countries? Yes, they do. Are they the largest IT consulting firm in our area? Yes, they are. Are they the largest software developer in the St. Louis region? Of course they are. But here are a few other important things to know about Daugherty Business Solutions. They are the presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They are the presenting sponsor, and we're the first presenting sponsor of the Advocate Professional Golfers event at Glen Echo that will be held there this year as well. They are also the founders of Access Point. This is a community game changer. It builds diversity in the IT workforce. Hundreds of mostly African American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 a year jobs right out of high school. That's right out of high school. Ron Daugherty, company founder, chaired the 2023 Heart Ball this year. It supported the local American Heart Association chapters and raised over $600,000 in one evening. These are more examples of the many things that Daugherty Business Solutions does in our community. The official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show is the Dean Team. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They provide me, Pearlie, and our families with all of our cars. The reason we went with the Dean Team is because we could trust them. We knew at the Dean Team they were going to take care of us, and they have. They made the entire car buying experience so simple. It was more than just simply selling us a vehicle. The Dean Team made our car buying experience seamless and enjoyable throughout that entire process. The Dean Team has the complete car buying steps done before you head into their showroom. They're ready to answer all your questions and set your mind at ease when buying a vehicle. At the Dean Team, they offer new, pre-owned, and all the services included with your Dean Team purchase. When you're with the Dean Team, they become lifelong friends. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, located at Manchester Road in Kirkwood. The Dean Team.
The Legends of Golf return to St. Louis in 2023. You won't want to miss one of the strongest fields in golf. Ernie Els, Steve Stricker, Bernard Longer, John Daly, and many more when they compete for the 2023 Ascension Charity Classic title, September 5th through the 10th at historic Norwood Hills Country Club. All proceeds benefit area charities. Together, we were able to donate over $1 million to those most in need last year. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey St. Louis, Delsing here. Call Redbird Heating and Cooling or visit them on the web at redbirdhvac.com to become part of their team. They offer great pay and the opportunity to become a licensed HVAC specialist while you work for them. This is a fantastic opportunity to earn a great wage. Don't wait. Call them today. 314-320-9507. That's 314-320-9507. Redbird Heating and Cooling.
This is the Front Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing. The Front Nine is presented by the Ascension Charity Classic, September 5th through the 10th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Find out more at AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions, as we come to you from Wild Crush, which is located in the heart of Town and Country. Along with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and it is our pleasure to visit with one of the all-time greats in St. Louis sports, and that is Hockey Hall of Famer Bernie Federko. Great to see you, Bernie.
Great to see you guys. Always a pleasure.
Bernie, one of the true best times of my life was when you got inducted into the Hall of Fame in Toronto. That trip, we probably all should have gone straight to Betty Ford straight after that. I don't think, honestly, I know someone told me this at the time, but they don't believe they've ever had any inductee have more people present.
It's never happened, Jay. We had over I think we had 110 people at it was all week basically. It started and we just kept going and it was fun and it was one of those things that I would have never expected that many people to come, but it was something that I look at. It was more fun having everybody there than anything. You take the ceremony, everything away. It was just having the friends and relatives there that made it more.
Bernie, the first night, I think it was in between the first and second period of the Leaf and the Montreal Canadian game. You guys got announced. I think that was the first night.
Yes.
But I was in the game, and I'll never forget the impact of being a Canadian and a member of the NHL Hall of Fame. That I looked around and people were in awe. I mean, because hockey is so important in Canada, and it probably didn't get as much appreciation down here. But I sat there, every single kid at that rink was just, their mouth was sitting open, and watching you and John Bellevue and all of the guys that walked out on the ice at night. Amazing.
Well, I was as amazed as they were, as the kids were. Trust me. I mean, I was standing on the ice, and Jean Belleville, who's my childhood hero. I wore number 4 all my life there in Foam Lake as a kid. I wanted to be Jean Belleville, and for him to be standing right next to me was a really special moment. And it's a long time ago. It's over 20 years ago now, which is hard to believe that it's that long ago. But I'll never trade in the memory of that for anything that I have.
Now, Bernie, don't get mad at me, but unfortunately, playing for the Blues, sometimes you had the golf clubs out by this time of the year. So how much has golf been a part of your life, whether it was playing hockey and running into the summers, or, you know what, now that's post-playing career gives you some competition?
It's kind of been a part of my life the whole time. I mean, we had a little 9-hole course in Fishing Lake, which is about 10 miles north of Foam Lake, and that was kind of that was our country club, and it was the little sand greens when they were oiled down. You had the big I don't even know, metal rod that you pulled it when you were putting, and the greens were maybe 8 by 10. So, but it was something. I mean, it was a summertime thing, and in a little town you didn't have much to do. So once I was able to drive, it was good because we could go jump in the car and go to the lake and play 9 holes of golf, or play 18 if we could, and hang around. So golf was always been something that I really enjoyed. And of course, I think it's just a hockey thing. The off season is in the summer, so you play golf and in the summertime because you're done with hockey between training or whatever it is. And we didn't train that much like the kids do now. It was a full-time job for the kids now when they're getting ready to go to camp and this and that. For us, it was when the day of the season ended, that was it. We were in I guess golf mode, party mode, whatever we could do. We just had fun doing it. So I always enjoyed the game, and I've really carried that through my life, being able to play the golf. I mean, I think there is some type of correlation between golf and hockey. I mean, the puck is in between, your stance, just like golf is. So there's a lot of similarities. So, and then, I got to meet Jay, and all of a sudden I started doing more things. I got to caddy for him, and this and that. So it became more and more fun, and that's why I think golf is so special for all hockey players.
Now, did he help you as a caddy?
Oh, hell yeah. We went to, how about the trip that we made down to Valhalla, and I think I was first alternate or second alternate at the PGA Championship, but we sat out there and watched Tiger Woods give that clinic, and he was dissing Lanny Watkins. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember all that.
Bernie and I were standing out there, and Tiger was... Hell, he was just a baby at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing, Tiger gets on the practice tee, and Lanny was just chirpy. And Tiger's like, man, you talk a lot. And Tiger's like, I'm just going to hit some shots. And it was impressive.
I bet it was. I want to go back to what you were talking about, Bernie, just for a second, in the swing of a golfer as it pertains to a slap shot in hockey. And maybe some of the similarities, if there are any, but I mean, you watch hockey players, man, they can hit the heck out of a golf ball.
Yeah, I think there's some. I mean, obviously, it's transfer of weight from one side to the other. I mean, I think that's part of it. I think positioning of the puck and the ball at the same time, trying to follow through with a slap shot. I mean, you're getting your back swing, and then of course following through. The higher you follow through, the higher the puck goes. So, kind of the same things that I think you understand that you have to have your head still. You can't have motion there, because if you do, you're going to miss the puck. I mean, we don't really. Guys don't really have to look in the, guys putt without looking at the ball. So a lot of guys, with the really good players, the defenseman will shoot the puck with their head up because they're looking not only at the net, but they're looking to make that play as well. But for the most part, you have your head down when you're slapping the puck. So it's kind of the same thing as when you're hitting the golf ball. So there are a lot of similarities. And I think it makes the game a little easier for us because it's transfer weight and all that stuff. I mean, I play hockey left-handed and I play golf right-handed. So it's a little different. But I mean, no one really had left-handed golf clubs when we started. So you just played, because you were left, you played right, because that's the only clubs you could get.
Bern, the one thing that I try to tell people I know, and now I think I saw something, 45% of all left-handed clubs made in the world go to Canada because there's so many left-handers up there. But the lower body motion with a slap shot and golf are so similar because it leads, and it's, like you said, the weight transfer and that moving the hips in front that creates that torque. The kids, not only the golfers hit the ball so ridiculously far, but the hockey players can shoot the puck, and the new sticks that have come out with they're kind of titanium and all that. It's just crazy.
It is, and you don't have to be big anymore. I mean, I think, when you watch Al McKinnon shoot the puck, he shot it as hard as anybody, and Al's really not that big a guy. But, you look at Kyrou now, how well he shoots it, but it's the torque and the golf clubs we talk about all the time. All the old guys talk about how far the ball goes. I haven't found out when you got my clubs changed out different shafts in them, all of a sudden now, I was losing so much distance with my irons, and all of a sudden now I'm hitting my irons as the same distance as I was hitting them, 10 years ago. So it is. Technology is absolutely amazing.
I don't know how you played the game on ice. It's just ridiculous. But did you ever think a game could be so hard with the ball not moving?
No. There's still, to me, is that, as we were just talking, my game, I've never really get to play golf this early because we've been always, with the playoffs we've been playing. And so now all of a sudden the last couple of weeks, I've played more golf now than I have probably in April and for years. But, I started out good. I think my concentration is better. I think I do more and more of the right things. And then all of a sudden you start thinking you're going to be a little better. And then all of a sudden it goes way down the tube. So I love it, but it is the hardest game by far. It's a mental game, but it's way too hard to play to keep scoring well.
You knew my dad so well. And I was always taught the hardest thing in all sports was to try to hit a baseball, moving round ball with a round bat. And then my dad played golf, and I said, Dad, what do you think? And he still held out for baseball, but I watched him struggle with that golf club in his hand.
Absolutely, because you're not used to. It's something that's so different. When you grow up, I guess for the earlier you get kids involved with golf now, the better it is, because then they kind of learn and they get better and better. But when you, as an older person, you start picking up, it's very difficult.
How about Mike Weir? What did he mean to the country of Canada and all the winning and the majors and competing and winning? What did Mike Weir mean for Canada?
Well, it's like everything else. When we talk about what Brett Hull did in St. Louis here, what Wayne Gretzky did to hockey in the United States, it's that breath of fresh air is that you don't hear about. There was Jay, who's the Canadian original golfer? There was pretty good. But the guy that was playing
George
on the
Knudsen.
George Knudsen
had a wonderful swing.
Right, but Mo Norman. That's a great story reading all that stuff. But I think what Mike did. Everybody knows what the Masters is. The Masters. Of all the majors, even the Masters is that one that everybody just dreams of, the green jacket and stuff. For Mike to win that put golf to a whole new level in Canada. Unfortunately, in Canada, it's winter for 7 or 8 months. So
limited
not a lot
time
of
to
time.
play
Very
golf.
limited play. But I think like what Brett did here or what Gretz did here is that golf, I think, became much more popular because of Mike winning the Masters.
That's Bernie Federko, the Hockey Hall of Famer, Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. This is Golf with Jay Delsing, originating from Wow Crush, located in the heart of Town and Country. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the Blues winning the Stanley Cup, one of the amazing runs we've had in sports here in St. Louis. Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
That was the Front Nine, presented by the Ascension Charity Classic. Coming up, it's the Back Nine and more of golf with Jay Delsing.
Daugherty Business Solutions, the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show, is a leader in our community in so many areas. Do they have over 2,500 teammates in over 30 states and 3 countries? Yes, they do. Are they the largest IT consulting firm in our area? Yes, they are. Are they the largest software developer in the St. Louis region? Of course they are. But here are a few other important things to know about Daugherty Business Solutions. They are the presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They are the presenting sponsor, and we're the first presenting sponsor of the Advocate Professional Golfers event at Glen Echo that will be held there this year as well. They are also the founders of Access Point. This is a community game changer. It builds diversity in the IT workforce. Hundreds of mostly African-American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 a year jobs right out of high school. That's right out of high school. Ron Daugherty, company founder, chaired the 2023 Heart Ball this year. It supported the local American Heart Association chapters and raised over $600,000 in one evening. These are more examples of the many things that Daugherty Business Solutions does in our community.
Hello, friends. This is Jim Nance, and you are listening to Golf with my friend Jay Delsing.
Powers Insurance and Risk Management combines 200 years of experience and cutting-edge products to deliver exceptional service, value, and clarity to their clients. Powers Insurance will deliver the highest quality property and casual insurance programs and strategic planning consultation services in the industry. Insurance can be overwhelming and confusing. It can be tough to understand. Powers Insurance simplifies it for you and your business. Powers Insurance and Risk Management will partner with you by providing ongoing assistance, consultation, and service that will help you control your insurance expenses and your workplace safety. Find out how Powers Insurance can help you. Visit powersinsurance.com. That's powersinsurance.com.
The Legends of Golf return to St. Louis in 2023. You won't want to miss one of the strongest fields in golf. Ernie Els, Steve Stricker, Bernard Longer, John Daly, and many more when they compete for the 2023 Ascension Charity Classic title, September 5th through the 10th at historic Norwood Hills Country Club. All proceeds benefit area charities. Together, we were able to donate over $1 million to those most in need last year. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Hey, Delsing here, and my show Golf with Jay Delsing is brought to you, as always, by Daugherty Business Solutions. It's Golf with Jay Delsing, Sunday mornings at 9 for all your golf needs. Reach me at jdelsinggolf.com. This is Jay Delsing. Did you know that Marcone is the largest authorized appliance parts distributor in the world? That's right, the largest in the world. Did you know that Marcone is based right here in our backyard of St. Louis, Missouri? Well, that's pretty impressive. What's more impressive is the way that they give back to the St. Louis community and our region. CEO Jim Sowers has donated service dogs to the wounded servicemen and women of our armed forces. Suites at St. Louis Blues games have been donated and auctioned off, in which all proceeds were given to the backstoppers. Then there was the Marcone Police and Firefighters viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic this past year. It was a huge success, so much so that it's being implemented on other tour stops around on the PGA Tour. To Jim Sowers and his incredible team at Marcone, we want to say thank you. Thank you, Marcone, a proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. To connect with Jay, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. You'll see the latest in equipment, find the latest innovations in golf, and get tips from a PGA professional. That's jdelsinggolf.com. This is the Back Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing. The Back Nine is presented by Pro-Am Golf, located in Brentwood. See what Pro-Am Golf can do for you.
The Back Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. Earlier in our show, Cord Dombrowski was our guest, founder of Dalhousie. Now we have Bernie Federko, Hockey Hall of Famer, Jay Delsing, Dan McLaughlin. We're coming to you from Wild Crush, located in Town and Country. I teased the fact that the Blues won the Stanley Cup 2019. You have a big old fat ring as a part of that, which is pretty cool. I know you weren't on the ice to help win it, but yet you represent, I think, what so many people loved, whether it was Bob Plager, Bernie Federko, those guys that gave their blood, sweat, and tears to this organization. And for you guys to see that come to fruition, what was it like for Bernie Federko?
It was a real honor, Dan. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, yes, you said it all. Is that I never wanted playing. And I mean, I think the guys that win it are the only guys that really are responsible for wearing the ring, lifting the cup. But to be a part of it and to see it, I mean, we tried as players. That was we wanted to win the cup. That's the first thing you want to do is when you come into the NHL, you want to play your first game, and then your dream is not to just play in the NHL, but to win the Stanley Cup. And it took a long time, and there was a lot of perseverance from the management. I think the ownership group did an unbelievable thing by saying, hey, we're going to get together, we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And you have to give Tom Stillman's group an awful lot of credit with it. But everything has to fall into place too, Danny. We all know that. I mean, you don't win by being the best team. You win by being the best team that plays the best and gets the best bounces and gets the save at the right time. And I think we saw Binnington do that. We saw the leadership of Ryan O'Reilly. We saw all kinds of little things happen during the playoffs, and just to be a part of it, to be in Boston, to finally see the cup get lifted and get down there and lift it for myself, it was a very, very special moment, and it's something that I still, I've got the ring at home, and it's locked up, and I don't see it very often. Maybe once a year we pull it out, maybe at the start of the season. But I'm very honored that the Blues included us and did give us the ring, and it's very, very amazing, and it still blows my mind that we actually have that, because you look back 4 years ago right now, it's a long time, but it was a long time coming, and it's still amazing.
Well, Jay, it's well-deserved, too, that he gets that ring.
Oh, 100%. And Bernie, Danny and I have had Curtis Strange on the show, and Andy North, and Tom Watson, Lee Trevino, and these guys all talked about when we were kids, I had a putt to win the U.S. Open every single day that I played. I was playing with my mom's clubs in a golf course. It's not even we shouldn't even talk about, especially when we have something like Dalhousie on the show now. And what's that like for you? I mean, first of all, I want to hear what it was like growing up and dreaming like that, and then Original Six in Boston Garden and getting that cup. I mean,
yeah, the whole thing is that I think the disappointment is that when you play your entire career and you don't win, we hockey players we're very set in our ways, and we're very I don't want to call it superstitious, but if you don't win it, it's not yours to pick up. I've been around the Stanley Cup for years and years, through the Hall of Fame stuff that we do, and the cup's always there. Never ever touched it. I took pictures with it, but I never laid hands on it. And it was that night in Boston that I was able to actually touch it and hold it up for the first time, because I felt that, this was something that I've worked for. I didn't deserve to get it right there because I wasn't on the ice to do it. And I still only believe it was the guys, but I'm part of the organization, and I felt that this was the time that I actually could do that. And it was a thrill. It really was, Jay. The same thing as what you just talked about. It's the seventh game of the Stanley Cup, and you got a breakaway, you get a penalty shot. That's what Joey and we played. You talked about it as a kid. You were on the ice, and every time that you were in a game, you were thinking, this is the game that's the seventh game of the Stanley Cup final, and I'm going to win the game-winning goal or score the game-winning goal. So these are the things you always think, and then all of a sudden it happened, and then you can't believe that it happened. And you got to pinch yourself to know that the cup was at our house, the cup was in the backyard. The cup.
That's what I wanted to ask.
That's just amazing.
That was amazing.
What'd you do with it? Because, and also describe, did you get 24 hours with the cup, or what did you get?
No, we got a half day, basically.
Okay.
And it turned out to not to be a half day. It turned out to be, we got the cup that arrived at our house, about 5 o'clock, and we had just friends and
just like he would do.
Yeah,
he had a backyard.
Yeah, we had 100 and some people in the backyard, and we
just amazing.
We just had a blast. We had food trucks, and we had
poutine. We had
to have poutine. We had the Canadian poutine, rice and gravy and cheese, and then we had a whole bunch of Bud Light,
awesome.
and we had a lot of. We smoked a bunch of cigars. In fact, our picture even got in the Cigar Aficionado magazine with the cup.
Oh, that's great.
Later on, 3 or 4 months later, but it was really Danny. It was the anticipation was what really freaked me out. Is that we were with the cup all week until when they won it, and this wasn't until August. And now it's in August, and now the cup is coming to our house. And the friends and the family that came by, they could not wait to get their hands on it and actually take a picture with it, Danny. So it was like a religious moment, and it was really it was so much fun. I look back at it as one of the nicest evenings that we've ever spent, and it was all with our friends, and that's what makes it more important. Bernie,
for somebody that grew up here like Danny and I did, and I know that you weren't really on the ice with that team, but it wouldn't be right for you not to be part of this
100%.
thing. What you did, and the fact that you and Berna have lived here your entire career, now you do, countless charitable things, golf tournaments. You guys are, one of the things that's amazing, we had Ozzie Smith in the other day. We get Hall of Famers just come in and sit down and, I'll come by and we'll talk on the show a little bit. That doesn't happen all around the country.
Well, it was, for me, it was the look on Bobby Plager's face too. Bobby was, he was one of the leaders. He was the one that showed us, him and Barkley, and for Bobby to be in Boston too. I mean, Bobby didn't even watch the game. He paced. He can't even look at. He couldn't look at the game.
I thought that was hilarious.
It was. I mean, he every night. Hey, Bobby, come on, relax. You know what? Just watch. But that's what was really special to me, to be able to see Bobby get fulfilled that dream too. It was Bobby played in 3 Cup finals back in the 60s, and for him to be able to be there and hoist the cup, it was a really special moment.
Did you have a favorite moment of that cup run? Was there a game or a moment that stood out for you?
Well, the moment that stood out for us is that we were so excited that we were all excited about Game 6, that the cup was going to be hoisted.
I was there.
That was so
and Danny,
disappointing.
that's the whole thing, is that it was so disappointing because the kids were like, okay, we already knew, the kids knew that they could come on the ice and all that. I mean, our daughter-in-laws, they were like, wow, we're going to get to go. Yeah, this is something special. And then all of a sudden, they
got blown out.
It was a stinker. We had a stinker.
So,
yeah.
you know what? I think, Danny, this is funny. The moment that I cherished the most was, and I'll say something first and then I'll go back to that, but we got on the plane to go to Boston for Game 1, and when I sat down, I was talking to Tom Stillman. I said, Tom, wouldn't this be great if this goes 7 games, and at the end of the 7 games, the Blues, we win the cup in Boston, and then we get to have the cup back on the plane with us for 3 hours where no one else can do anything with it. Well, Tom goes, oh, that's a good idea, but no, let's not wait 7 games. Let's do this, wrap this up. Well, you know what? So go full circle to the 7th game. We got on that plane. When we finally got on with the cup, it was the most amazing. That was probably the neatest moment. You know what? The goal, of course. When we made it, when it was like a 2-1 game, and all of a sudden when it became 3-1, then as soon I said that the third, or the fourth goal of the game is going to be the difference maker. So if they make it 2-2, then we got a game here. But when the Blues made it 3-1, then I figured it was over.
Bernie, I'll never forget this. I was watching Game 7, and we're winning 4-1, and there's less than a minute left. And I call my brother, and Bart Dunn, and he's just a huge fan of yours and a St. Louis Blues fan. And he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "We're winning the cup. Are you kidding me?" He goes, "There's 55 seconds left," and he hangs the phone up. He's like, "You're not going to screw this up." And I'm like, 3 goals in 55 seconds?
When it got to 3-1, that's when even Bobby relaxed a little bit, because, we knew, okay, well, they're not going to score 2 goals last, although they've done that before, because they did that. I would go back 3 or 4 years ago against Toronto. Toronto was up by 2 goals, and Boston scored 2 in the last minute, and then ended up scoring in the game, winning the goal. And Toronto, finally they won a round. Finally, the Leafs have got something to cheer about.
Is there, let's go back to golf just for a second here. Is there a golfer that you'll stop and watch as a professional athlete? You were at the highest of the highs. You're a Hall of Famer. And I always find it interesting because some Hall of Famers like, whatever. But is there somebody in golf that you'll sit? This is a golf show, by the way. So is there a golfer that you'll stop and watch and just say, I'm going to spend 3-4 hours and watch this guy play?
All the golfers are good. I'm a believer in personality, and I love watching Rory McIlroy because he's got a personality. He's, and I love what they've started doing now. They're giving guys mics, and the guys are actually walking up. And Rory was in the middle of a tournament there, and
Augusta,
and he's walking up the 9th hole talking to the commentary. I'm saying this is, and that's the type of guy I like to watch. Danny, it's not, I don't like there's too many guys that are into the no personality. They're mechanical. That's all they are. They're like robots. I like the guys that still go out there, play golf, have fun, say the right thing. And then, if someone says something, I love when watching the guys walk up the fairway together and they're chit-chatting, they're talking and laughing. That's what, they do this every day. It's like we did it every day of our lives. You sat on the bench. We didn't talk hockey on the bench all the time. We talked about something if you wanted, because this is what we did.
Bernie, and it's like you were saying off the air about how with all of the developed hockey programs, you wind up knowing the guys you're playing with for 10, 15 years or something like that. It's the same way. It's the same way in golf. And we had Curtis Strange on, and he said the same thing. This is a great thing for golf today, but he would never do it because he was like, this is going to disrupt me. It's going to interrupt my concentration or something. And it's
And it shouldn't. I mean, but everybody's got to. I think golf much more mental than hockey is. But I mean, I think obviously if you get out of your game plan, and if your game plan is to be quiet, you got to be quiet. But I don't like the quiet guys. I like the guys that are not quiet. No, I'm not. I never was quiet. I love playing golf, but I like the social part of it. It's fun to chit chat, it's fun to make a bet or whatever it is, and would get on someone's case and an air press or something.
And then the 19th hole.
And absolutely, they're all fun. It's all fun stuff.
So we're going to go to the 19th hole in just a moment. Let's wrap it up with Bernie Federko. What are you most proud of from your career? And it could be the fact that you got 3 beautiful children, beautiful wife, now grandchildren. But as you look back in your life right now, and you got a long ways to go, so that's okay.
I hope.
You got a long ways to go. But at this point, what are you most proud of?
Well, Danny, I'm just most proud that I've been able to stay a part of the St. Louis community for this long. I mean, I came here in 1976. Bernadette came a year later, and we got married, and we've had our 3 kids raised here in St. Louis. Luckily, we have all 3 of them. We now, as you said, we have 2 of them are married. We have 2 granddaughters now. So I'm just proud that I've been able to be a part of not only St. Louis, but the Blues have given the opportunity. I mean, went to Detroit for a year and then, came back and really been part of the telecast and all that now for the last, 20 some years now. So I'm just everything I have in my life is because of the game of hockey. I would have never dreamed that, I shouldn't say it. I dreamed of all this, but dreams don't really always come to reality. So the reality that I have now, that I've been able to be here this long and to be given so much by the St. Louis people. I mean, I can't say enough about the people that live in St. Louis. I mean, all of us with the alumni, we've been so lucky that the people have taken us into their community, into their homes, and now we're a part of that community. And I think that's what I'm most proud of, is that Bernadette and I and the boys, this is St. Louis is our home, and this will always be our home.
You're the best, Bernie. Thanks for coming in, and I know, Jay, I'm speaking on behalf of you. We love Bernie. Bernie's the best.
The Hall of Fame hockey player,
guys,
better human
I love
being.
you guys the same. So it's always a pleasure to be one with you guys.
That's Bernie Federko, the Hockey Hall of Famer from the St. Louis Blues, and coming up, it's the 19th hole. This is Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Doherty Business Solutions.
This has been the Back Nine, presented by Pro-Am Golf. We'll make the turn into the clubhouse and head into the 19th hole. That's next on Golf with Jay Delsing.
Delsing here, and since 1975, Tom DeGrand and his children have founded and run the top golf store in all of St. Louis. It's located on South Brentwood. The DeGrandts and Pro-Am Golf Centers have been helping all of St. Louis play better golf through better equipment, lessons on the indoor simulators, and by getting you fitted using the state-of-the-art technology. Call 314-647-8054 and set up your personal fitting with CJ. He's the best, and he will help you find the right equipment that's perfect for your game. For nearly 50 years, St. Louis has trusted their games to Pro-Am Golf. Don't you think it's time to take your game to the next level? Call 314-647-8054 or visit them on the web at proamgolfusa.com. It's Pro-Am Golf. Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
This is Paul Lazinger, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey guys, Jay Delsing here, and listen up. Remember this name, Redbird Heating and Cooling. That's Redbird Heating and Cooling, 314-320-9507. This is a family-owned and operated St. Louis business. Owner and CEO Jed Dickinson leads their apprenticeship program called the Veterans Vocational.
He will teach and sign off on educational and mechanical work hours while you get licensed, as you get paid working for the company. That's Redbird Heating and Cooling, 314-320-9507, or redbirdhvac.com. Start your new career as a licensed HVAC specialist with Redbird Heating and Cooling.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, and let's head to the 19th hole.
The 19th hole on Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Doherty Business Solutions. We're at Wild Crush, located in the heart of Town and Country, and our thanks to Cord Dombrowski, the founder of Dalhousie Golf Club, also Hockey Hall of Famer Bernie Federko, and man, was that fun. 19th hole, also presented by the Gateway section of the PGA. Wonderful to visit with those two guys.
I mean, you think about the memories that we had with Bernie, the Blues. We've been watching Bernie since we were kids. And I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. And then we've got a national golf club here in our backyard and down at Cape Girardeau that is, shoot, it's world renowned. I guarantee you they have members. So Cord said over 700 members. I know that they have some from out of the country. It's awesome. And you know, Danny, we talked about this last week, but the global pandemic has just taken our game to a different spot. And who would have thought something like that would have such an impact on our game?
Absolutely. I told Cord that I'm a member, which he knows, and I had a chance to, multiple times, to take my son down there and a nephew and a buddy stay overnight, and the accommodations were incredible. So I would encourage anybody here in St. Louis, take a day trip, take a night trip, and take in what they have to offer at Dalhousie.
It's a golf club.
Yes.
You're playing golf. You're getting treated well. Bill Morrow down there is a rock star. He knows how to take care of you. Plus, golf, man. You know, you wake up, you're thinking golf, they're cutting the grass, you get to smell all that stuff. I just love that.
I love Bernie Federko, one of my best friends in the world. I know you feel the same way. And the thing I was so excited about when I saw the Blues win the Cup, and he mentioned it, but I thought about Bernie Federko, I thought about Bobby Plager, I thought about Barclay Plager, and I thought about all these guys that kind of laid the foundation to make hockey what it is here in St. Louis.
No question. And that team they wouldn't be anywhere close to where the heights that they achieved without guys like Bernie, Bobby, Barclay, all of those guys that did such. Oh man, just growing that sport in town here, and now, you know, we win the Cup. I would never thought we were ever going to see that, Danny.
Now Bernie can play a little bit. How many shots do you give him?
I'll give Bernie, let's see, the last time Bernie and I played, I think, so ever since I've known Bernie, he's always been a single-digit handicap.
Legit.
Hall of Fame hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say I'd give him probably 3 aside.
3 aside. That's
3
it?
aside, yeah.
You played in over 700 PGA Tour events.
I don't like to lose, man. I don't want to lose to him.
Bernie is over there without a microphone. He said, that's not right.
Good. We unplugged his mic. He's out of here. He doesn't get he doesn't get a conversation. He doesn't get to be in this conversation now.
So for Cord and for Bernie, thanks for being part of the show. And I know that we do this every Sunday. It's always fun to do it. And tell us about Wild Crush here in Town and Country.
Yeah. So my partner, Karen Paslowski, and I opened Wild Crush November of 2021, right in the heart of COVID, and we actually are doing really well. It's been a struggle on a lot of different fronts just because of the timing and everything of it, but we're in a beautiful location. Bob Brinkman's built a fantastic building here. We've got a great patio. I'm extremely partial, but there's a lake and a waterfall and things in the back, and really what I'm proud of is our staff. We have Emily here today. We have Lindsay here today, but they got to treat you with kindness and do whatever they can to make your stay special.
And I know you do a lot of private parties here too.
We really have. We've had Lexi Paslowski, Karen's daughter, as our managing partner and events coordinator and manager, and she's world class at this stuff. And so our first year we did well over 100, and this year we're going to do more.
Awesome. Great stuff, Jay Bird. Always fun.
Danny, thanks for being with us.
And how do we end it?
Hit him straight, St. Louis.
Bernie, what does it mean to you not only to go in with these guys, but also you have a great connection to the history of the Blues with, of course, the Plager brothers and Gary and my dad. I know you didn't play for Scotty, but, you know, you're unique in that you have a connection to almost every guy that's inducted this year. And Bobby Gassoff, of course.
Yeah, John, I feel very, very fortunate. I mean, this is a great honor, obviously, to be going in with everybody that is going in this year. I mean, this is a special honor for the St. Louis Blues. I mean, I came here as a 20-year-old. I didn't know much about St. Louis, and got to play with right off the bat with Red and with Gary, and I got sent down to the minors, was probably the greatest things that ever happened to me, because I got to play with Barclay Plager. Bark was coaching down there, and he gave us the evil eye that you play it his way and you play for the team or you don't play at all. So it was a very, very special time for me to get to know Bark, and I still look at that Bark was the greatest moment in my life to be able to learn under him and really be coached under him, and he was playing at the same time. He was a player coach. So just to be still in St. Louis after all these years, John, it's 47 years now. I mean, I can't say enough about the city. My wife and the boys have all been born and raised here, and it's been a very, very special time for us, and I can't be more proud to be a member of the Blues Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and you've always represented the Blues in a first-class way, Bernie, and we certainly appreciate that. What did it mean to you? And I know your first couple of years in St. Louis were challenging. The Blues were a rebuilding team, and they had different coaches. And, Barkley was your coach, and then Red. And then it finally culminated really in 80-81 when your team had 107 points and went to the second round. It must have been really rewarding for a young guy and your team to finally break through in 80-81.
Yeah, it was tough. To start, I mean, my first year, I ended up getting called up in February, and we ended up winning the division. I was only here for a couple of months. We ended up getting a first-round bye. We lost to Montreal in 4 straight games, and then it was a rebuilding. I mean, Mr. Francis did a great job rebuilding the team in a couple of years, and all of a sudden we went from not making the playoffs for a couple of years to being a contender. And I look back at 80-81, it was a fantastic year. We had a lot of fun. We were winning a lot of games. Of course, Mike Leute was standing on his ear, and we were scoring a lot of goals that year, and it was very unfortunate we didn't get into a Stanley Cup final at that point in time. And but that's how fragile this game is that it's very, very difficult to get beyond what you need to do. And to be able to stay here and do the things that we've done. I mean, I've been very fortunate. I mean, I've been probably the only guy I started with the Solomons. They were the owners at the time. I've kind of been through every ownership of the Blues, and everybody's tried to win the Stanley Cup. And thankfully, this last ownership group has been able to have done that, because I think that of all the things that have happened through my career, and I wish I would have been a part of it, these guys have all won Stanley Cups. I've not done that, but to be a member, even the broadcast crew, when we won the Stanley Cup, the Blues won the Stanley Cup, and I will never say that it was me. I look at Ryan over there and Tomer and Schenner and Chief. They won the cup for us, and I still feel very proud that they did that for us. And thank you guys each and every night. Really, that's what makes it. I've had a lot of great things happen to me in my life, and obviously this ranks way up top there. This is so flattering that it's beyond words. Nancy and Bill, thank you so much. I mean, from Bernadette and the boys and I, this is absolutely beyond belief, because I would have never dreamed it's in a million years that I was going to play in St. Louis this long, go into the Hall of Fame, and now have a statue that is going to last forever here to honor me. This has just been absolutely wonderful, and I want to thank you all very much. And again, Nancy and Bill, again, thank you so much, and thank you, St. Louis. I love being here, and thank you very much.
Daugherty Business Solutions, the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show, is a leader in our community in so many areas. Do they have over 2,500 teammates in over 30 states and 3 countries? Yes, they do. Are they the largest IT consulting firm in our area? Yes, they are. Are they the largest software developer in the St. Louis region? Of course they are. But here are a few other important things to know about Daugherty Business Solutions. They are the presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They are the presenting sponsor, and we're the first presenting sponsor of the Advocate Professional Golfers event at Glen Echo that will be held there this year as well. They are also the founders of Access Point. This is a community game changer. It builds diversity in the IT workforce. Hundreds of mostly African-American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 a year jobs right out of high school. That's right out of high school. Ron Darty, company founder, chaired the 2023 Heart Ball this year. It supported the local American Heart Association chapters and raised over $600,000 in one evening. These are more examples of the many things that Darty Business Solutions does in our community.